Connor. Good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be here. Thank you very much, Connor. I suppose I'm passionate about working with people and working with teams, and as Connor said, I do that on a day-to-day basis and working with a lot of the PwC partners and their teams in terms of growing and developing their business. And it's interesting when my background is marketing and sales, and actually before that I was actually an accountant, or as I describe myself, a reformed accountant. But actually, when I start the conversation with people about growing their business, the first thing it comes back to is the team and the individuals within it. How can we get our team more focused? How can we get our team more engaged? And then how can we go out and actually attack the marketplace and win business? So really, it always comes back to the people piece. So what I'm hoping to do over the next few minutes is actually talk you through a little bit of context around why people are so important in the business within PwC. Share some insights in terms of how we particularly look at that. Then look at the retention of people under two headings. First of all, how do we engage the people that we have there already, and how do we develop them further? I'm picking up actually on some of the points as well that both Connor and Jorg talked about already. Then picking up on the external piece, how do we begin to attract new talent into the organisation? And then I'm going to leave you just with 3 small takeaways or points to reflect on. Here's a quote that I just found interesting in terms of the people agenda and how important it is, from Richard Branson. Success in business is about people, people, people. Doesn't matter what industry a company's in, its people are its biggest competitive advantage. And certainly that is very true for PwC. Unlike PepsiCo, we don't have any products. Our products are our people, so they are absolutely essential to the success of our business. So how we attract, motivate, retain, and engage our employees is absolutely fundamental to us. I'm going to share with you just a short video that I came across that I think really kind of shows the importance of engagement in driving a business. So again, as I said, I think it's an interesting video, and it kind of gives a real context in terms of the importance of employee engagement to the growth and success of your business. And I certainly find in sitting down with senior executives, that's something that grabs their attention in a very meaningful way. And I think some of the kind of compelling things I took from that certainly was the whole area of the trust in management being central to the employee engagement. You know, caring about employees, the integrity and the competence of the managers, and very much the points that Jörg talked about, that relationship with your direct boss being so critical to the engagement of the employee. So, you know, what happens on a company-wide basis is fine, but if that relationship between boss and employee isn't strong, everything else kind of falls away. So a little bit about PwC in Ireland, just to give you a little bit of context in terms of where we're coming from. We have 2,400 people, of which 35% are in manager or above kind of grades. So an awful lot of people that manage people on a day-to-day basis. So again, hugely important for our business. We hire about 850 people in 2016, between graduates, experienced hires, and various interns and co-ops as well. 52% of our staff is female, and that's probably a number that surprises a lot of people, and that's actually a number that's growing. We have 92% of our people are Irish, but we have 37 nationalities making up the other 8%. The video talked about the fact that by 2020, 50% of the workforce will be millennials. Well, actually, we're gone way beyond that already. 71% of our current population in PwC are millennials, and our average age is 31. So a lot of the issues around managing a millennial workforce we're already kind of grappling with and dealing with, and hopefully addressing in many cases. You'll see in the video as well the importance of a purpose and values and vision for an organisation. And again, this is something that's very much at the heart of what PwC stands for as well. And one of our mantras and our hopes is that every one of our 2,400 people is very familiar and able to recite the vision and the values that the organisation stands for. And that's part of building the culture of the organisation. There's 4 key pieces to it: being the leading professional services firm in Ireland, working very much together across all of our disciplines, bringing real value to our clients, and importantly for today's conversation, driving really success for our people. Any of you who have heard our senior partner, our managing partner, Fergal O'Rourke, talk at any kind of forum, he will always refer to the PwC values. They're very straightforward and simple, but they're very important to what we do. Acting with integrity at all times, working together and bringing the best of PwC to everything we do. Being innovative around new products, new ideas, new ways of working, new uses of technology, reimagining the possible. Caring about our own development and our potential, and helping others and giving feedback in a helpful and constructive way. And really making a difference, putting our hand up, being brave, and actually really trying to drive the best success for us and for our clients. So if I move on then to looking at in terms of the engagement piece, what do we do in terms of engaging within PwC? A quick quote just again to put something in context. When people are financially invested, they want a return. When they're emotionally invested, they want to contribute. As I describe it to our people in PwC, when you're emotionally invested, it's about behaving as if you own the business yourself, acting as the owner. If we've everybody acting as an owner, we'll be hugely successful. So here's some statistics from a company called Engage for Success that did some work at PwC internationally around the whole area of people engagement, and it's linked to business results, which we found very interesting. The productivity levels of engaged employees and engaged companies was 18% higher than the average. The customer loyalty of their clients, their customers, 12% higher. And the retention levels within those organisations, which is vitally important, was a massive 40% higher. And that's really compelling data. And again, that really kind of shows the direct connection between the engagement of employees and the success of a business. Interestingly, we did some of our own research across PwC ourselves, and we looked at every single business unit across our organisation internationally. And we took the top 25% in terms of employee engagement. So the ones that were the most engaged, those top 25, the top quarter, and we found that they had 20% higher client loyalty and 12% higher profitability consistently over the rest. So customer service and profitability being key. The key way we assess and build our plans around engagement is through our annual engagement survey. This is something that's done in every PwC country around the world, simultaneously in April every single year. So this is the one from this time last year, well, just about 11 months ago. And we would have been coming on the back of a complete change of leadership the previous summer. So in summer 2015, Fergal O'Rourke took over as managing partner and appointed a new leadership team. So this would have been the first survey they would have done post that transition, 8 or 9 months into their actual term. So the strapline of share your thoughts, we're listening, our future starts now was actually particularly relevant from an Irish perspective, given that situation last year. And the big thing we wanted to get across in last year's survey, in the build-up to it, was the fact that leadership was really open for change. Leadership was really open to getting people's views and ideas and driving success on the back of that. So the biggest thing we were trying to measure in terms of our view of success for last year's survey was our response rate. And we managed to increase that by 18% across the organisation, which was particularly challenging when we have a lot of people who were out on study leave, doing exams, travelling, secondments, maternity leave and so on. So 18% was a huge increase and really something we were very proud of. If we looked at the three main performance indicators that we measured, again, we had good improvements in all three. Our general people engagement score up 7%, our behavioural change index, and that really measures people's view as to how open management is to change within the organisation, positive change, up a whopping 9%. And the intention to stay, I was very taken by Conor's points around the 3-year horizon for people. We'd have a huge number of people, obviously, that are in that category. A lot of people join us as trainee accountants on a 3.5, 4-year contract. So the intention to stay and be here in 12 months' time, that 5% growth was a massive number for us, particularly in the context of the economy being strong this time last year, lots of opportunity externally, both in Ireland and internationally for people. So a very positive message to leadership. And really we saw this as a kind of a bit of a leap of faith for our people, saying the leadership team was only just in place. This is the first time we've done the survey, but we like what we're hearing so far, and we're engaging with that, but you now need to kind of demonstrate that we've put our faith in the right place. So one of the things we did as part of the preparation for the survey, we actually spent time with the leadership team. Myself, some of our internal communications team and our HR team and our learning and development team. And we sat down with the leadership team, our head of HR and our CEO, and in fact we talked about what's the best way we can get the most out of this survey in terms of value and insight. So we did some research. We did some research in terms of articles, basic research, but we also rang around the world. We found where are the PwC territories where engagement scores are the highest? Where are the territories where the completion rates for the survey are the highest? What can we learn and do differently on the back of what we can take from them? So we found a whole range of things. The ones here in this first column are things we were kind of doing pretty well already. We felt we were ticking the boxes in those areas. The next column was ones where we went, yeah, we're not too bad at these things, but we probably can improve. There's things we can do better. And then there was some on the right where you felt we're probably not doing as many of these things as we'd like to do, or certainly not doing them as well as we'd like to do them. So we need to work on those. Now, you'll be glad to hear I'm not going to go into all 15 items on the list, but I'm just going to pick a small number and just give you a sense of some of the things we took. Marketing the survey early and providing real purpose and meaning as to why we were doing it and what people will get from it was really important. Getting leadership on board through that engagement early on and real demonstration of commitment was very important. We would have sent a video of Fergal talking about this survey and the passion he had for people's feedback to all 2,400 people in the lead up to the actual survey. So in the 3, 4, 5 weeks before the thing hit the ground, we were already engaging our people around the importance of it and what we wanted to hear from it. One of the really critical things was trying to cite past examples of where we'd followed through on their feedback before. So that sounds like an obvious thing to do, and in many cases you were telling people stuff that they probably knew about already, although in a lot of other cases it was refreshing their memory. They go, oh, I'd forgotten about that actually, and that was 6 or 7 months ago, and actually that's an interesting point. The bit that was really powerful though was, and there was a bit of a debate over this, some of our leaders felt if we start talking about what we did last September or last August, will it be a bit like eating bread is soon forgotten, are we just talking in the past? But actually what we found was, by connecting those particular initiatives, new projects, new developments, back to the feedback from last year's survey, people very much then were able to connect what they've seen happen in the last 12 months to last year's comments and to their feedback, which is something they wouldn't have seen directly in the past. So now we have very much a mantra that every time we develop something new, we connect it back to people and say to them, this is based on your feedback. You're the people who actually made this happen. Holding people accountable for completion rates within their business units, again, something really important and something we're doing a lot more of in the years to come, making it something that's going to be part of people's reward and their package, is the completion rate and the engagement score in their particular business unit. And then the final one, the most important one, making promises to act on last year's results and then actually keeping them, making them happen. And a key part of that as well is also the honesty around things we won't do. So we can't respond to everything. Not all ideas are good ideas, but where we say no, that we're not going to do something, it's actually being open and transparent about that and saying, this is what you told us, this is what we've done to assess it, this is the conclusion we made, whether it's right or wrong, and this is why we're not going to put it into place. And people just respecting that transparency and honesty. So what were some of the focus areas that came out of the survey for us? 6 there. The first one was interesting, personalising the strategy. People felt they understood our business strategy and where it was going, albeit we have a whole refresh of that strategy going on at the moment. But a lot of it was trying, what does that strategy mean for me on the ground? It's fine for the people up at the very top of the organisation, translate that down to help it mean something for me, and we're doing some engagement sessions around that actually over the next number of months. Transparency about reward and open and honest communication were two things I'm going to connect actually, because the example I gave you was one where the two really did come together. Reward is always one that's a tricky one. Everybody often feels on these surveys that their pay is not in relation to what it should be. They're looking to get more. They have examples of people who are paid more than they are. But actually the biggest thing that came out for us was really about, I want to better understand my pay in connection to my peers. How do I fit on that continuum between good and bad? What can I expect in the years to come? What influences and drives my bonus? How can I better understand what factors went into my last year's pay rise? So we actually ran some sessions. Our year end is in June, so people get their pay rises on the 1st of July. So we ran some sessions by grade, by business unit, with leadership last June before people got their information to say, look, you're going to be getting your letters in the next couple of days. Let's talk you through, for your grade, what we considered, what the business factors were, how the calculations went into certain things, what you can expect in terms of the benchmarks, and to give you some context before you go and have your conversation with your people manager. That was really a powerful session. There are a number of sessions, and I was sitting in with some of the ones with some of our directors, which is the grade just below partner. And certainly there was a lot of jaws hitting the floor in terms of the level of transparency, openness and honesty, but really positive feedback around those sessions. And in many cases, the issue wasn't about the number. It was more about the communication and the transparency and the understanding of where they fit in the organisation. And certainly we've had a lot of positive reaction to that over the number of months since then. The final area I'll touch on this slide is around the whole area of feedback, and it's something that Jörg has already talked about in terms of PepsiCo. It's really important for our business. Our people work on assignments varying from a week to 6 months to a year for different managers, over the course of their careers. The importance of getting feedback real time and getting coaching on the job is absolutely vital to the success of our teams and our individuals, and it's something that people have a passion for, and it's something that millennials in particular are really looking for on a real-time basis much more often in a very informal way. So we're really pushing that. There's a lot more work to do in that space. We have an initiative now called Feedback Friday, where we get reminders every Friday to talk to the people in our teams that particular week and share anything that's going well or not going so well, and making it quick, informal, and less about the paperwork piece, albeit we have to do some of that towards the back end of the year. In terms of developing our people, I suppose there's a quote again, just to start off the session. This is you've probably seen this one on LinkedIn quite a lot, but it's quite a compelling one. What happens if we invest in developing our people and they leave us? And the CEO saying, well, what if we don't and they stay? That's one that we could fall into the trap of, because we do have that natural churn as people come through, qualify in certain areas, be it accounting or tax or other areas, and a huge percentage of them, and our business model kind of drives this, move on and move into industry. So there's a temptation to not invest on that basis, but actually we feel it's the right thing to do, and we feel we get huge benefit and reward for it, both in terms of the quality of the people, the engagement they provide, the work they do for clients, and then when they leave us, they become very valued alumni of our organisation. They become clients themselves, and they often refer people back to us. And again, we have a similar referral scheme to what Jörg talked about in PepsiCo. Here's two of the frameworks we use in terms of how we actually support our people on a day-to-day basis. Our PwC professional, it's really about, I suppose the clear message from this is, it's not just about the technical capability there in the bottom right. It's now a case of whether you work in tax, accounting, consulting or deals, you're going to have a lot more to bring to the table in terms of skills, particularly around relationships, business knowledge, commercial skills, the global acumen, and the leadership skills, the soft skills that have come out in Connor's survey as well, very much coming to the fore. The other thing in terms of a building business perspective is how we go about building our own business. So how do we develop business with our clients? This is the pursuit framework which we use to support our people in every aspect of the sales cycle, right through from targeting to interacting, proposing with clients, closing the deals, and hopefully exceeding their expectations. We break our training into three areas: the formal piece, the coaching, and then the on-the-ground experience. I'm not going to go into detail on what they are, but you can see on your thing on the screen there, there's an awful lot of detail around how we do that. There's a big investment for our early people up as far as manager level, 2 to 3 weeks of classroom training a year between technical and business skills, leadership programs both in Ireland and internationally, lots of coaching from various people including buddies, and then day-to-day coaching and experience on the ground, international secondments with clients and with PwC. Finally, looking at how we attract talent. And again, hiring the right people takes time, the right questions, and a healthy dose of curiosity. Here are some of the challenges we're seeing in terms of recruitment, particularly at the graduate level. We find a stronger competition from ever, and it's not just from the traditional big four firms, it's now from the Facebooks, the Googles, the LinkedIns, but from other companies that traditionally wouldn't have competed against us, the likes of Jameson, the likes of Lidl, and some of these companies offering very attractive starting salaries, cars, and so on. The brand perception about PwC, about professional services being male, grey and stale, definitely something we've had to fight and challenge, and I'll talk to you in a second about how we've done some of that, and really needing to engage our people earlier. So the days of us trying to target graduates in their final year of college are well and truly gone. We're now looking at getting people in on co-ops and internships much earlier, and actually the bulk of our graduates who come in any year will have been with us in some shape or form before, which is great for us and great for them in terms of it's a tested proposition on both sides. I'm not going to talk to all of these, but you can see these are some of the things we did in terms of our objectives for our last graduate recruitment campaign. A real focus on culture, which is something that the guys have already talked a lot about. Showcasing our building, our facilities, our people, talking about what does the career journey look like? How can I bring my career and develop it further over the next number of years? And a huge focus on web and social as being our two big channels for engaging our people. Here are just some examples. I'm just going to flick through them in terms of some of the things we did in terms of developing our content and our marketing materials. And you can see it's very much about not so much showcasing senior people, but showcasing people who maybe are a year or two in, who they can relate to more as graduates coming in. Showcasing the building, the culture, and just trying to break that stereotype down in terms of what people were coming from, in terms of their perception of accounting firms or professional services firms. And again, multiple channels. That resulted in a 31% increase in graduate applications. It also resulted in a 53% increase in visits to our website and people staying 58% longer on those sites. It also included over 120% increase in all our social media channel engagement and interaction. So huge positive results in terms of our graduate program. Again, from our own research, both on our own people, but also in the marketplace, this is what we see in terms of some of the keys to attracting millennials. Most of these have been touched on already. The mobile-friendly website and social media. The reward being more about not just the actual salary, but what else comes with that in terms of study leave, travel opportunities, other experience. So what's the overall deal rather than what's the actual salary cost is really important. And again, Jörg talked about this, the opportunities for progression and professional development. And you're even seeing now a lot of advertising for graduates is talking about lots of responsibility straight away. You know, you won't be kind of photocopying for the first 2 or 3 years. It's about giving you early responsibility and opportunities for progression and development. These are some of the other things we do beyond the graduate program. We've done a special kind of a Christmas time experience hire campaign. We find a lot of people are home during the Christmas time, or it's naturally a time when people are thinking about where do I go next? I've got a bit of downtime, I can start thinking. So you may have seen some of our advertising around the airports in particular. The referral scheme I've talked about, and learning from exit interviews is something we do a lot of. So we interview every single person before they leave the building on their way out to learn what can we take from that, how can we make changes to our organisation to learn from that. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour through, I suppose, some of the things that we find that work particularly well in our organisation. And just to leave you with 3 takeaways. On the engagement side, what are your people telling you? And are you listening to what they're saying and acting on the back of it and letting them know that you've heard them? How can you support your people to get to where they want to go? The first point there being, do we know where they want to go and help them to get there? And finally, in terms of attracting new people, who are the right people for you? Where are they hanging out? And what is important to them? I think if you can answer those 3 questions, you're in good shape. Thanks very much.